Well, as always, you gotta keep things moving. So, uh-oh, what's this? I don't know. Nobody's gonna know. Well, till tomorrow, anyway. But we've got another one. It's already LS swapped, but we got a plumb, and we've got 2 wire. Got some of the stuff in here for it. Coolant, radiator hoses, etc. But the guessing line is open now. I don't think you can really judge by them wheels, because those are just some steely throw-ons, but what could it be? It could be anything. But this is going to be the next quick project. We're going to hopefully get it together real quick, get it down the road. Well, we got a G-body in here. Man, I don't know what steelies these are, but they kind of look right on this car. I don't know why. They sit it way up in the air, but maybe it's also because it's got no windshield or floor or interior. Well, it's got interior, but not all of it. But this is a project of a guy I know, friend. I don't know when they're just guys and when they're friends after that point, but you know, I'd call them a friend. But this has a truck motor in it, and all the parts I need are in here, hopefully. I see parts. I see some parts. The harness might still be on the engine, but I've got to put a LS harness on here, because it's LS, of course, and do the fuel system. That's about it. Well, we've got a quick little project in, hopefully done here in a weekend or two. Monte Carlo 86 Super Sport that is already LS swapped. But what I have to do is wiring, which is just wiring the motor and fuel system. That's it. And really, let me flip you around. It's like, ah! You know what I'm saying? But, yeah. He actually got a pre-tuned computer, which is kind of funny because I was reading on it. Which this car don't have a cam or nothing in it. It's literally just VATS, delete, EGR, delete, etc. I don't know where this came from. But you can see it's a P.O. Gen 3 485360. They all use the same crap. Drive-by cable. Here's what's funny. Deleted. VATS, EGR, EVAP, rear O2s, speed sensor limiter, you know. But what I thought was funny is this being it's going to be a 99 through 03 or 4 motor. And they set a fan to 190 and off to 185. Well, what's funny is these certain style of LS computers and stuff and LS harness don't even have a fan wiring for it, unless they added one. If they didn't add one, why would you turn a fan on for it? Because it won't have a wire to control it. So, unless this harness has a fan wire, which I can't tell right now because there's too much crap in my way, I'm going to have to pull this harness out so I can strategically place it in there. Get rid of this on the rail fuel pump, because I'm pretty sure I'm putting one in the tank. And we'll go from there. But yeah, this has no floor. That's it right now. So it's going to be super easy for me to put the starter on. It's going to be easy for me to put the fuel line setup on it. But yeah, I got to probably drop the tank. Probably got to drop the tank, put it in there, because this, I believe, was a carbureted car. And yeah, EFI. But we've got computer, we got the harness up there, new starter, and all the fuel lines. So not much has got to go down here. It's be pretty quick. I'm just taking inventory of what I have tonight. And then tomorrow I'll get on it because I work today. It's Saturday, the 1st of November. But again, yeah, you can see this side's pretty clean. Again, I didn't say I was hooking them up. I told them wiring and fuel system. You know, they gave me the radiator hoses. I'll hook them up. You know, big deal. But as far as like power steering lines, never said I was hooking any of that stuff up. So, and as you can see by right there, the exhaust is 100% sitting on top of the frame on this side, which is why you always get V-bands or headers. But again, not my car. I'm just doing the wiring and the fuel lines, kind of air filter on, I don't know why. But yeah. This one you get an air filter. Hopefully, well, it would have been good over here, but this is where the battery goes, so you're going to have to try to take it over there. But, what was I just looking at? I was wanting to see where the exhaust came over here. Exhaust is almost on the frame. Definitely on the frame on that side. Almost on the frame on this side. Anywho, just wanted to give you guys a quick little visual of what's coming. And as always, I know I'm not on here a lot. I work a full-time job, so some stuff comes in, I do it on here, some stuff don't. But like, share, and subscribe, please. I have a TikTok, but I don't use it anymore because, honestly, I said a joke on there, and they kicked me off of live, so I said, you know what, screw it. But anywho, like, share, and subscribe. We'll get started on this bad boy tomorrow. Well, slow start today. It's a little chilly, but let's open up these fuel lines and take a look. They are PTFE lines, which I absolutely hate making, just for the simple fact that always poking freaking the stainless in my hand. Oh, well, these don't have metal. These have the fabric. Well, it could be fabric with the steel inner liner. I don't know yet. We'll look at it right here in a second. But I'm pretty sure it's like an Amazon kit. I have never heard of this name before. Let's take a look. Yeah. Never heard of this. Dash 6 kit, 25 foot of line, black. You know, your basic PTFE line setup. Let me see if I got a knife in here. The one thing I don't really keep much of anymore is knives. Right, here we go. There you go. Found that knife. Perfect knife. But I'm just curious of how complete a kit this is, because it's going on hard on the Monte, and if the Monte has hard lines and this don't have the ferrule adapters, then I'm probably gonna have to order some stuff. Unless I have some, because it should be 3/8. I know he showed. Oh, yeah. This comes with the AN tool. You ain't getting that back. I'm going to keep that PTFE line, so we ain't worried about that. You've seen PTFE once, you've seen it before. So, there was another tool in this bag, too. I wanted to take a look at, but I want to take a look at this one first. I don't have an AN wrench. I usually just use regular wrenches. I don't care. I mean, does it really matter if you have an AN wrench or if you just use a regular wrench? I don't know. This is cool, though. Just because it's red. Is that the size line you use? 6? So that's 6 AN. It just seems odd. Never used them before, so it's just odd. These aren't all the fittings. Okay, so this one I know we're gonna need. These are for like your filters and whatnot, and for your fuel rails. These bolt on up there, so definitely know I need every one of those. Then what we got? Let's see here. Yeah, this is your standard 6 AN fitting for your PTFE line. Standard. I'm looking for the quick coupler ones. Yeah, standard. Let's see here what we got. All of them are standard style. Different red caps. I don't know why they'd give you different caps. Maybe if you want to do red and black. Fuel line holders, which I don't understand these. Okay, if you're going to give a fuel line holder, give you one that has like a self-tapper, and it will go into your frame, like all the way out to here. Don't know why you would use just a separator. I mean, they got nylon braid on the outside. They're not going to rub. A plug? Okay, I don't know why you need a plug for. Oh, there's that other tool. Check that out here in a second. So again, why do you need plugs for? There's a plug. Here's an adapter. Probably won't use that. Here is the other one. Is this the 3/8? Alright, this is the 3/8. The other one's the 5/16. Again, for your filter. Definitely going to be using that. Should have 2 of those, really. Once again, another separator. Oh, there's another adapter for 3/8. And another adapter. So, no quick couplers, but these will probably work for that. If I have to cut it, I'll have to order the quick coupler style. Now here's what I wanted to see, because this is the tool to spread open the PTFE line, which again I don't have. I never really had to spread them open. I always use a cutoff wheel and cut them. So, but this looks like it could be pretty interesting. What does it unscrew for? I don't understand why it's unscrewing. Okay, so it's reversible for different size lines. Okay. Like, this is one of them things where it's like, you don't need it. But he just ordered the kit and it was in it. So again, this is used just to separate the line. It does no other purpose. You just use that to push into the line to clean it out, and this probably flares it over the nylon. So it does. It probably makes things a little easier, but honestly, it probably won't do much for me. Anywho, that's everything in that kit. It's not a bad kit, but the kits don't really come with a the fittings to go on an old style fuel pump pickup, which is what's going to be in the Monte because it's in tank. And it's just going to be a metal, end on it. That's all it is. And usually, whether it was TBI or carbureted, it was just hose clamped on. So, again, when you do this for so long, you have basically an idea of what you need. And yeah, a kit like this I do usually buy just because it gives you 75% of the stuff you're going to need, but it's not all the stuff you're going to need, because most of the stuff you have to adapt. You have to adapt from steel line to the dash 6, which again is a ferrule style quick coupler AN fitting. I don't know if I have any. Oh god. Sorry. I'm old. My knees hurt. And I'm fat. Yeah. I keep extra stuff here. No, that's for the push-ons. That is... I think this is one right here. I'll show you that. Let me see if I got another one. See, I got another adapter if I need it. Some other junk. Anything that comes in the kit, I usually just keep. That's a -8. Can't use that. What we got here? This looks like another one. Yep. I think that's a 15, a 3/8 and a 5/16, which is what we need. So you got brass fittings, elbows, adapter, push-ons. These are the push-ons. Push-ons are a lot easier. They still work for anything that's like this. It's not a high horsepower application. It is just a application. There's a one. So it's 3. Here is the EGR block off, which he didn't order one. But that's neither here nor there because he don't need it. He just kept everything factory. More push-ons. This is a Corvette filter. I have extras of those. There's more of the EGR block off. There's another one. What do we got here? These are bungs for fuel tank, I believe is what I ordered them for. I don't remember right now. This is another ferrule, I believe. Yeah, and you can see I just got other stuff. Is that another ferrule? No, that's just for a PTFE line. See, another bung. What's that? That's another push on, another push on. This is most of this stuff is from hot rod fuel lines. Yeah, that's when you order the good stuff. But let me go over here. I'll take a look at these. Yeah, but you can see no floor, nothing in this car, which they have the floor pan. They're going to do it all. I am just up here to do the fuel lines. I say up here, it's in my garage, so I'm just doing wiring and fuel lines, so. But yeah, I'll show you what I mean when I say ferrule style, if that's what this is, which I'm pretty sure it is. Yep, okay. So this is just like a quick coupler for like if you use on your brake lines or fuel lines or whatever. But your 3/8 fuel line goes in there, goes on the ferrule, crush them down, and it locks on and turns your steel gas line into a AN fitting. Again, these are from Hot Rod. Very good to have on hand. I probably got more fuel line adapters on hand than the local parts store do. I'm not joking about that. But I don't tell anybody because I don't want everybody coming up here stealing my stock. You know what I'm saying? If I do LS stuff, I want everything on hand, basically. There we go. So yeah, those are a bunch of those. I'm going to put them back in my drawer so I don't confuse them with his, which I'll just keep all the fuel lines when he's done anyway. That's how do you think I got all these? Kits. Order kits. It's all the stuff you got. So. Anywho, that's the fuel line setup for the Monte. What I'd like to get done today is I want to get this thing jacked up in the air and have this fuel tank pulled. Now, he probably don't know, but I know. Them rubber lines that come off a fuel pump, they'll have a rubber piece that comes from the fuel tank to the hard line. They always do. Can't use those. They will explode. But he's got a pump up front right now, like a, what would you call that? A pull pump that pulls from up there. Those don't have a lot of pressure on the lineage, so it can pull fuel up there, and then, you can start your car that way. But they burn out quick. You got a push and pull style. The push style is what I put in the tank, so that way it pushes fuel forward. The gas keeps it cool, and you don't have to worry about being out on the road and saying bye-bye to your electric fuel rail or electric on-frame fuel pump, because they don't last. It's the simple, point of it. They don't last. They get too hot. If it's, okay, say it's 90 degrees outside and that thing's pumping gas and you're on your way to, I don't know, 4 towns over, yeah, that pump's going to get like 200 degrees and it's not going to be good. It's going to melt down. You're not going to have fuel, and you're going to be trying to find one on the side of the road. Is not going to be fun, especially in a small town. But anyway, let me do some stuff here, get this car jacked up, wait for it to get warm in here. I got my heater on, but as soon as it gets hot, we'll put this thing up in the air and start pulling fuel tank. Alrighty, I'm up in jack stands now. Remove the fuel sending unit. There's a ground strap right here you're going to want to remove. It should be a 5/16, but it's also like super rotten. Maybe it's a quarter. Might be 11/32, whatever. We'll figure it out right here in just 1 second. I got this little Swiss Army nut driver here. Don't really care for it. I just couldn't find my 5/16, so yeah, so it's neither one of those. I hate when bolts look like something else. Let me see here. Come on, close. Close back. Junk. What size is? Let me see here. It's now 3/8. 11/32. 11/30 bigger than 5/16. I can't tell. Let's look. If it messes with me, it'll get cut off. But it's going to the fuel pump, and you're gonna need it. Yeah, that's bigger. Alright, let me hop out of here. I think it's not an 8 because it's not a 5/16, so it's a 7. Let me hop out of here and get one. Per everything anymore, it's a 7. I got a sneeze coming on. Oh god, that hurt. Involuntary spasms of my diaphragm. Put that screw right back. I don't know how much gas is in here. Sounds pretty empty, hopefully. But next part is up here in the darkness. Wow, you can't even see anything. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, there we go. There is 2 15s, I believe, here and here. Now, I was looking for some rubber hose, but are then the rubber hoses way up there? I hope not, because those are going to be like a super pain in the butt to get to. I was hoping there's rubber hoses back up here on top of the tank, but it's not looking good. That's a heat shield. Looks like tins. 1, 2, and 3 tins. To drop that, and a 13 in the center of it here. So yeah, 1, 2, 3 tins, and a 13 to drop that. Again, I was hoping that there was some rubber lines up here on top of the tank, which it has to be, because there ain't no way they have freaking 2 foot of steel line, almost 3 foot off of the tank. But anyway, let me see if this 15 will work. Booyah, nailed it. And it's going to be impossible for me to film this, but I'm going to try. Let's try without an extension first, because extension takes away a bunch of your torque. Alright, and like usual, prepare for rain. Craftsman, baby. Craftsman. You looking for you a cheap impact to get started with? These things actually work extremely well. And I use like DeWalt at work all day. DeWalt are real good, but I can't afford it, so. God almighty. You can do it. Guess not. Not gonna happen. Gonna have to get an extension and socket and break it free first. Then I can lower it. But you don't want to take these bolts all the way out. Until you're ready to play catch with your face. Let me hop out of here and grab a socket. So I got them off, and basically this is the only time when it's, you know, awesome when you're fat, because you can hold the tank with your face and chest at the same time. But anywho, she's down. Let me pull this thing out of here and they can look up here. But you can see it breathing with me. Alright. Let me get out of here, because it sucks. And just as I assumed, basically knew, because I've done a bunch of 80s model stuff, there's always rubber lines before hard lines. So now the fun part, the devil clip. I hate these things. Well, today they're being quite easy, huh? Is that one rotted? Or is it on the other side? Oh, okay, cool. It's on the other side. Oh, sorry. It's hard to film and do this at the same time. But, yeah. Devil clip. Rotate it to where easy access. Get all three in one go. It's hard to get all three in one go. There we go. That one's off. Now where's this one at? It's on the side, okay. Hook it, book it, cook it. Got it. Alright. Now we just gotta undo. God, what is it? 80. This is an 85 or is it an 86? I don't remember. So 96, 2016. So it's almost 40 years old of undoing here. I would say this tank has never been out of this car. Anywho, I'm going to pull these lines off and I'll get right back to you. I'm going to get the tank out. That gas smells dang near nuclear in there. Nuclear. Tank seems in good shape. Yep. But definitely won't have a problem putting a electronic fuel pump on that big hole. Put some in some other ones. The 66 C10 and the 55 Pontiac was literally like this big. That one's like that big. So easy times on that. But that's out. You know what sucks is if I just use this and I don't put a new one in it, the chances are of that fuel hand working this long, I don't know. I'll probably get a hold of the guy and be like, hey, will you want to order a new fuel pickup for this? So that way you can know for sure your fuel hand works. I guess I could throw the battery in it, turn the key on, and play with the fuel alarm back here and watch the gauge, but you never know. Anywho, that's the fuel pump out, or not fuel pump, fuel tank out. As I said, it smells pretty rough. I have to figure out which one of these are. This one's my pickup, or my pump. That'll be my pump. It's 3/8. This one's 5/16, which is our return. That's a vent, which all we'll do is just run a hose off of it and let it vent. But that's a good thing, though, because the return, if it didn't have a return, because some of these older fuel pumps, or not fuel pumps, fuel tanks don't have returns, they just have an outlet. I would have had to have drilled a hole, ordered a bung, put it back through here somewhere, and put it in, because you got to have a return on an LS. So anyway, that's the fuel tank out. Now it's hammer and screwdriver till I get the pump off. Alright, let's knock this thing out of here. I actually got you sitting on the exhaust right now, which turns out to be a perfect third hand. So I need to go this way. Is that one? Am I hitting the right one? There's a couple of different ones. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm got the right one. Just gotta make sure not to dig in too crazy. Yeah, see, that one's starting to cut through. Wait a second. I'm going the wrong way. Okay. Yep, there it comes. Forgot to check for which way the little nipples are stuck on there. My nose is whistling. Now, before I get it all the way popped off, I am going to tilt this tank up and dump all this rust off here. Because though the tank feels empty, I don't want that crap anywhere near it. Alright. Yeah, it's good enough. It's good enough. It's good. Finish tapping her on. That should be golden. Locking ring is loose. The juice is loose. Alright. I can tell you already, this is going to absolutely be horrendous with gas stink. Holy crap. That tank is clean, man. That's good news. The gas don't even smell bad in it. They might have put new gas in here. Yeah, but that's golden. Awesome. Oh, crap. Yep, just ran into my first problem here. Look at that. Ailery goes down, turns 90. So how on earth am I going to get a pump on it unless I lay the pump down? Might be what it is. I might have to lay the pump down. Just cut this off right here. and just lay the pump down. And I'll have to drill through and run a power wire. You know, I might be able to just drill out the old vent tube and use it as a power, well, no, I need the vent tube. It's got a vent, so I'll have to figure out somewhere to run the power wire. That's the only thing I can say. I might have to order a wiring bulkhead for the fuel pump. But yeah, no biggie. No biggie. No biggie. We'll figure it out here. As I said, I can probably just lay a pump flat. It ain't gonna hurt it. It'll still suck it up. Suck it up. It's I looked for a TBI pump, but only recently did I found that the TBI Monte Carlos, which are from 85 to 88, are actually quite rare birds. They didn't make a lot of them, and it wasn't a factory thing. I thought from 86 to 88 was all TBI 305. They wasn't. They had the 4.3s, which I didn't even know these cars had 4.3 V6s in. They were TBI. And to be honest with you, I kind of want a 4.3 TBI Monte Carlo now. That would be cool. I love 4.3s. But anyway, yeah. I was going to look for a TBI pump and put it in this car because it's the same setup. But it won't. They don't have them. You can't get them. They're unobtainium. You can probably run the 4.3 pump. I didn't think about that. I'm going to go look up the 4.3 pump because it would have been TBI. And then all I have to do is swap the 4.3 pump for the LS pump or the 94 multi-port fuel injected 4.3 pump, which is cheaper, into this. And yeah, I'd be done. But we'll look at some options. So we're playing with the fuel system here. I ripped the sock off. It's right there. This line is, of course, 3/8. And the fuel pump itself is 5/16. It's right here. This is one of them eBay ones everybody uses. I've used them on several things. The Kimsmo or whatever, Kimso, whatever. But yeah, this is 5/16 and that's 3/8. And I'm going to use a quick coupler on them to hold them good and tight. But that's no big deal. That's easy stuff. What I'm trying to figure out now is I usually take old fuel pumps and take their bulkhead off and use them. But I don't have one right now. And I'm not going to buy a whole fuel pump to do it. So I'm trying to figure out the next best solution. I mean, I guess we could use gas-resistant RTV. It'd be the same thing. Just as long as the wires stay in. That is all I'm curious about. You know, they'll move with the pump. It won't have any kind of pressure on it besides what it'll, you know, when a tank heats up, it produces pressure, but that's what the port's for here, to release that pressure. So that might be our option. The only other option would be to get a Buick Grand National pickup. Now they're like $50 on eBay, but they're $180 local. So then you're down a week waiting for that. But I'm going to give him the options and see what he says. Other than that, you know, if he wants to go the cheap way, we can RTV it. Because a bulkhead from like Racetronics, that is what you usually find on fuel pumps, is going to be the same price as ordering a Grand National pickup. And also, I don't know if the Grand National pickup works on the same ohms as the factory unit. So those are the options right now. That gas is strong in there. But yeah, I can get a quick coupler now. Actually, I'll wait and see what he says, because if he orders the Grand National one, I don't have to use that setup at all. I can use the factory, like, pump hanger and everything. But this one I'll have to use the tube, and the pump will have to just lay down, which ain't no big deal. Pumps can go, as long as they're in gas, it don't really matter. They'll pick it up. That's what the screens are for. They help it suck up the gas. But anyway, I'm going to get a hold of him, and that might be it for right now. Because I want to try to get the fuel system ran that way, you know, toward the front of the car. That way until, you know, the pickup or whatever he wants to do. If he just wants me to, you know, like silicone it, I will. Cheap car, cheap hot rod. These options are up to the owners. Me, I'd order the Grand National one if it was my car, but I probably wouldn't have bought a car without a floor pan in it. So, yeah. We'll see what he says, and we'll go from there. But that's where we're at right now. Well, I got the fuel pump back in and everything. I got the wires for it right here. The ground is just going to be the same ground as the actual pickup. It's going to go on the same spot on the body. This is your level. That's your fuel hand. Black wire is ground, which is going to ground again, same spot. Red is going to get ran all the way to the front. And here's my little harness I made. This is a weather pack connector. I have the ground, which again, it'll go straight to the ground on the body. And I have a bunch of wire for running up front to hook to the LS to enable the fuel pump. Next step is I'm going to have to bend this up, cut this nipple off, which now that I look at it, I wish I would have did that before I put the pump in. I don't want to take the pump back out. Anywho, we'll figure it out. We'll cut it. I'll bend it up to where I can get a, what do they call it? A compression fitting / AN onto that. And the return, I'm probably not going to put one on the return because it's not going to be under pressure. It's just a return, you know. So, is the returns under pressure? Shouldn't be. No, there's nothing to stop them from... Okay, yeah, so, anywho. I think the regulator controls the bypass, but whatever. I don't think we're going to need... Yeah, what, Mechanicat? What do you want? I'm busy. But, yeah, I'm just going to put some fuel injection clamps on the return, and the vent's just literally going to be a vent. Can you not do that? Yeah, so we'll just cut that, run just a normal hose sitting somewhere just to let it vent, probably just out the back or something. And that's pretty much done. So I'm going to, yeah, hook it up, see where I need to run my next, my knees, fuel line to, which I can connect it to the original hard line. I don't want to do that just in case there's crap in it. So I'm thinking about running just the full line all the way up to the fuel side. And then, you know, just I'll hook back into the return for the return, of course. And that'll be basically fuel system done. But let me get this fitting on this back here, which should have one in here. I have to remember everything I use because I'll have to be reimbursed for, I think it's a 5/16. It's a 5/16. 5/16. It's a 3/8 ferrule fitting. Yeah, what are you doing, huh, Gizmo? What are you doing? Yeah, nobody wants to see that. But, yeah, this is a ferrule fitting. Again, I'll have to cut that nipple off there, and this 2-6 all the way forward. For peace of mind for me, I need to see if there is a fuel filter on this car. If there's not, best thing to use would be a 91 Caprice fuel filter. It's like a, what was it? A 5 micron, which is really good. And I need the fittings for that, but Yeah, what, man? What? What's the problem is? What the problem is? I'm working. I'm working. If you want me to provide you with your kitty weed, known as catnip, you better leave me alone. But, yeah, there's no floors in here, so there is no filter because carbureted. So I need to add a filter. I'm going to have to go get a filter. Then hopefully I have... Yeah, I can't hold the door handle and close the door, dummy. Hopefully I have the fittings for that to click them on, because I don't know. I can't use a Corvette style filter on this because it's got dual feed fuel line. Well, not dual feed, but it's got inlet and return up here that don't work on the Corvette. So what I need is the push on fittings. I have one. I need two of these. I don't know if the other one came with it. What is this? Is this 5/16 or 3/8? Let's find out. So 3/8. I think that's a 3/8. It's really tight. Yeah, it's a 3/8. Okay. So I've got one for my fuel side for the whatchamacallit. Well, dang, I need more of these. I need one for the fuel side to click onto here, onto the fuel rail. And then I need two for on each side of the filter. So, fun. I'm probably going to have to order some more of these, which means the fuel system's going to be dead in the water for a week. This is what happens when I have to work on a Saturday and I forget. I didn't, really have time to look at anything. I just basically dropped the tank and went on about my business. So, yes, I'm only seeing one fuel fitting. Only seeing one of these. So I'm going to have to see if the kit came with any that he ordered. If it didn't, then I guess I know what I'm going to have to order. 3 of those. We got one. That's a hard line. I might put that on the tank itself, so that way I don't have to cut that nipple off. And then, let's see here. What we got here? Ooh, there's another 5/16, I think, though. Wait, there's another. We might get lucky here. And that's it. Okay. So, I think I need at least one more of these to push onto the filter. This one and the other one will work for the upper fuel line. So, I'm going to get these put on the fuel line real quick. Not the fuel line, but the fuel rail. Up here. We'll get these off and get their contraption off where they started it. And, yeah. Pull them lines. Replace them with them fittings. Get rid of these. So that way it's easier for me to run my fuel lines, which I'm going to run straight down that way. I got to get rid of their inline fuel pump because as I told them, best in-tank fuel pump's the only way to go on an LS, because them out-of-tank fuel pumps burn up very, very, one more time, very quickly. So, yeah, boy. Let's get this stuff off here real quick. All right, now, I don't know if it's from the dude's inexperiences or what, but they had the fuel pump on the right side down here on the rubber lines. I think they were testing it, but they had it actually hooked to the return side of the fuel rail, which is like not good. I don't know if they ever started it or not. I doubt it. But yeah, got that all off. Got their out of tank fuel pump out. I don't know who makes this. what name's on it there. I don't know, X or 2X, something like that. But yeah, these don't ever work for LSs. They die quick. Even the like $1,000 pumps die like pretty quick. And tank ones last forever. Not forever, but you know, a very, very long time because they are cooled by the fuel. So yeah, this still has the EGR garbage on it. You can see here that you delete for that, delete for that, delete this, delete that. Get that crap out of your way. I'm not doing it. It's his stuff. I'll tell him about it. What do we got here? I don't even know what we got here. I'll have to try to figure out what goes where. But yeah. That's what I'm doing right now is I'm moving the old harness out of the way. Well, not the old harness. The harness for the car out of the way. That's the LS harness. Removing all the fuel stuff. I already got these lines off over here. Making room for the new fittings. And again, here's what they had on there. This is just testing, I'm sure. They had never any intention of using it, but you can see this is the 3/8 they didn't have hooked up. This is the 5/16 they had hooked up. The car would have never ran. But we have got to do the wiring to this car, which means I've got to pull all this stuff back and see what it goes to. Right now, I don't know. It looks like the alternator plug, actually. I don't know. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. This harness being up front makes me think he got the wrong year harness, which would make this the cam position sensor that's on the front of the motor. And you can't do that because it's back here on the rear and it's different. And I see, let's see here, cam sensor's hooked up, so they got that right. Oil pressure's not. I don't know what a lot of these plugs are. Let's see here, all of the injectors are plugged in. Coils plugged in. Water temp plugged in. Throttle positioning. Idle air controls plugged in. Alternators plugged in. So what are these for? I do not know right yet. What we got over here? O2 sensor. I don't know what that is yet. Okay, cam plugged in. You know what that might be? Possibly a knock sensor. But there's usually only one on these cars, and it's down, or not on these cars, on these motors, and it's down behind the starter. Which, I think they told me they did not hook up. Or no, that's a crank position sensor. Knock position on these. No, knock's in the center. Yeah, okay, I remember now. It's been a minute. But yeah, knock sensor is in the center. I need to make sure it's hooked up. Let's see here. Reach through and find it. I'm just looking for a harness for it. I don't feel the harness. Did they not hook the knock sensors up? Nope, wait, found it. Yep. Knock's hooked up. Yep, knock's right here. It's hooked up, okay. So what are them for? I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. I have to get the, if they did fire it, they already have the crank sensor hooked up down behind it under the manifold, which I don't know if they do. We'll find out very soonly, unless, nope, those are 2. I'm pretty sure the crank is a 3. Oh, you know what that is? That's probably transmission speed control that they don't have on here because it is a 200R4 that they have on this, which does have the detent cable kick down or TV, whatever you want to call it. If this has a throttle valve cable, they will roast that, and there it is right there. Throttle valve cable. Okay. Another knock sensor. I'm probably going to pull this entire harness off, honestly, just to sort of clean it up, because it needs to be ran better. Other than that, I don't need this on there. I don't need that on there. That's just a... Actually, that one does need to be in there because it's broken. Okay, we'll leave that alone. So, yeah, we'll leave that alone. I never saw it, okay? Never saw it. Yeah. We've got plenty to do. I'm going to go ahead and probably pull this whole harness off. And we're going to get to getting the everything wired up right where it needs to go, which they got most of it right, but it does need some extra stuff happening to it for sure. And I also need to try to clean up the factory harness that is right here, because I think this is where I want to put my LS computer. It's a pretty good spot, but yeah, all this, I gotta do something with it a little better than what it is right now. And then after I get everything laid in there where I want it to go, I'll start running my, well, not running, I'll start finding my things like my keyed power, because you gotta have a keyed power for your relays in here. For your fuel pump, which I can see now, relay's gone, and the spades that click in are gone, unless they're in the box in the back. Again, I haven't messed with this car much, not since we had it, not since I had it. Those are adapters. I'm not seeing much. Computer's right here. We'll take it up front. What do we got back here? Bolts for something. I don't know. PEX hose clamps. Don't need them. Not for me. And what this is? Fuel pump. This is the fuel pump box. So put this in here. Take it up front, which they got a mail-in tune on that, so I don't know exactly what's been done to it. Well, actually I did. I had the whole thing on the back of it, but yeah, I need that up here. Anywho, let me get this stuff situated, and I'll cut you back on when I get ready to do some more work to it. Enough talking, right? So, again, to save time, I've made this hose. Again, you just cut it off, put your ferrule fitting on that has a -6A on it. You put a 45 on there. I didn't want to put a 90 because I still got to get hoses on here, so that's ran. That's basically extra. I have the rest of the line coming off of the intake already to this point, because I'm going to have to put a fuel filter on this rail that I had to order. 10 micron, which is perfect for these. All the LSs run about a 10 micron. So, anywho, I've already found the starter wire, which everything was already ran down the back of the motor. Come off here. The main power wires, the starter wires, the power wires for the LS harness, they're already ran back down behind. When I put the starter on, that'll be golden. Still ain't quite figured out what these are yet. I have no clue what these are. I don't know what they're for, because everything's basically plugged in. I mean, your oil sensor runs on the back of the intake, you ain't going to use that on here. You can remove it and then put in like a, I don't know if I have one, an oil pressure gauge. It comes with the brass fittings. You can put one of them in back there and it'll feed your gauge. If this had, I don't think this had manual oil pressure, 85. I doubt it. I'd say that in this harness right here, there's an oil pressure sensor, like a plug. But again, that's not going to work on your LS. Now, you could go get a Monte Carlo one off of the, like an O'Reilly's or whatever, and adapt it to fit that, and then plug it into your factory harness, and you'll have oil pressure, which is like number one on my opinion of what you want to see. So, but other than that, everything's here. So that's going to be like super simple to wire. The fuel system's basically the hardest part of all this. I'll clean that up as best as I can. Once this is all in, gotta put the, well, screwdriver in it. Don't have a key. It's ignition's out on it. I think this is the ignition for it right here. So that was not part of my job. So I ain't messing with that. And also coming up, like the next thing I'll film, like the next YouTube thing, I have, now I'm going to turn all the way around again, all of these boxes, which are LS parts. I'm going to build an LS for the same guy I built the 66 for. He just wants the motor. We're just going to do a basic black. We're going to black it all out. But over here, we got a La Chupacabra cam kit. We've got a, I think it's Sharp. I can't remember who was on it, the name brand of it. Oh no, that's the muscle car oil pan. eBay harness, a Sharp intake, which is the fuel injected intake, and up there is a set of the black valve covers that you got to use, the newer style. I think it's 0809 coil packs on, which they still plug up to the original coil packs, but that's things to come. So I'll be cleaning and prepping another motor. But yeah, this is pretty much going to be wicked easy. As soon as that filter gets here, the tank will go back in. I'll plug all that stuff back in and be able to cut my wire to figure out where I need it. I have to run a full power wire all the way back, which comes out of the relay box on the harness right there. Is that it? Yeah, right there. It's hard to point, you know, but yeah, pretty simple stuff. Starter wire, I don't know if it's long enough. I won't be able to tell until I get the starter down there, if it's gonna be long enough for the battery. You know, just simple stuff. This is the stuff that where somebody sits and tells you, yeah, I'll do a $500 LS swap. They're lying. There is no such thing as a $500 LS swap anymore. A $500 LS swap would be if you went and got the LS and the transmission, you took the harness that come with it and cut it down, no cam, no nothing, and used the factory computer. You just had VATs deleted, and you did like, I mean, nothing. You scabbed together the fuel lines, and yeah, that'd be like $500. But that wouldn't even count as far as the motor, the trans, and the VATs delete. Because now the LS motors, these motors, the actually it's not even it's 99 through 09 models are $500 just for the motor, no harness, no nothing. You got to pay more for the harness, you got to pay more for the ECM, you got to pay more for the transmission. Transmissions are a G now, so anywho, yeah, $500 swaps do not exist anymore. That's far off. A swap now from me was $2,500 and up, and that is if I don't have to make motor mounts, and I don't have to make trans mounts, and I don't have to do cam swaps or bearings or intake swaps, or you know what I'm saying. Anything costs more. That's just the way it is. But anywho, I'm gonna go inside and eat some dinner, and that'll be it for this part of the video. Well, it's another glorious weekend before literally 2 weeks of rain pass through here, and that's when the temperature's gonna drop and suck. But we're back on the Monte. I had to order a fuel filter because you do not want to run an LS without a fuel filter. This is what I got. This is just an eBay setup, nothing special, but 10 micron. That's what I got. I want it really, really fine. These have stainless steel filters in them you can replace. More than likely nobody ever will. But yeah. You can also probably wash them because they're stainless again. There's not much. That tank's pretty clean, but this is cheap insurance, and you know, might as well get it. So now I've just got to build the fuel lines to that, and then I can put my tank back in, run them fuel lines. I'll have to go get some rubber fuel injection line to put on the return side of the engine, because return don't have pressure, it's just straight through. You don't have to have any kind of like PTFE, which if I have a system that already has return lines, I just, you know, reclamp into them. Don't care. It don't make no difference. No pressure. So, but anyway, let's pop this door open and we'll start building some more fuel lines. So as you can see, there's no floor in this car, but it's easy to see. There's my fuel line. I'm going to bring it all the way over to the frame and back up. So that's going to tuck over in here. And this is our fuel line. This is our delivery fuel line. Again, PTFE line. I'll have to clean it up a little bit. But that is where our pump's going to go, about in here somewhere on the frame. I need to make sure it tucks all the way up in the frame, because if I don't, the floor will hit, because as you can see over there, the floor tucks way down. So this is going to have to go up into the frame, and it's got a sort of a rail on it. I can't really show you without flipping over here. Let me see. Yeah, this has a secondary rail to it, so it's got to go in here to fit. And of course, got a monster amount of old lines in the way, so we'll try to find somewhere to fit it in there. But you know how them lines are. I don't want to pull them off the frame or nothing. The return I'm still using. The feed is, you know, fine. I'm not going to mess. I might build some spacers and space the fuel pump out a little bit to where I don't have to worry about moving them lines or anything. But it'll be fine. Let's start building some lines. So now the sucky part, putting the tank back in. I used a piece of tape to hold my grounds over here. That is the fuel mech. I've got my power line and fuel pump, or fuel hose, fuel supply. There we go. Going forward, again, this one's cut. That's 3/8 for the old carburetor pickup. This new, was it? I'm having a brain fart right now. The new fuel line, which is, you know, plastic or whatever they call them. It's going forward. And now I gotta just hunch this thing up here. Good thing it's empty. Make sure I hook all my grounds up and everything, and start running my new line and my new power line all the way forward. I have the return ran up on the engine, and I have the fuel supply already hooked up on the engine going to the fuel filter, which is already hooked up. So basically, tank in, hook the fuel line to the fuel filter, and hook the return line to the old return line, which is what I got on the tank. Again, it's just rubber, it don't matter. Then after that, I can work on things like wiring. After it's wired, I'm done. But there's not much wiring to do. It's pretty easy, simple. We gotta wire the relay for the fuel pump, hook up the ground, find the powers. I ain't looked for them yet for the LS harness. I don't know how they had that ran. And yeah, hook up the starter purple wire and the car's main power. I just gotta hook up my power cables and that should be it. Turn the key on, make sure the pump pumps, and yeah, pretty much done after that point. But let me throw this tank up in here. Well, fun as always. Tank is in. All hooked back up. I've actually got the fuel line and everything ran already. Up to here with the power wire, which is all right here. And I'm doing some zippy tying as I go to help me get it all in there. But I pretty much think I'm going to be done with the fuel system tonight. All I have to do after I zip tie this up, hook it to the fuel filter. Then I've already cut the lines back. They're over there. Is hook the rubber hose to the return. And the fuel system's done. Then it starts wiring. Which wiring on this ain't no big deal. Because all I have to do is a keyed power for the fuel pump and a constant power, like the key is on, constant power, which is basically the same as the fuel pump. And this baby should be ready to fire up. But I already told the owner that 200R4, because it has a TV kick down, whatever you want to call it, it's technically a TV cable throttle valve. That'll be smoked in like 2 minutes. I'm telling you, toast. They don't make a good bracket. The throw on your factory throttle body don't work right with the kickdown cable. They have a couple of brackets out there, but everybody says they don't work. So I don't know. All I know is everybody said don't do 700, don't do 200. Unless they're manual valve bodies. But it is what it is. I'm going to zip tie these. And yeah, I'll probably be done for tonight. Got to hit the shower. And I've got work tomorrow. So, and what's funny is now that it's winter time, it's 5 o'clock. Feels like it's 10 just because the sun's going down. Hate it. But let me get this done. Alright, we're making some progress today. I got the computer mounted. It's bolted up. I've got to do my fuel pump wire and my key 12 volt, and this is a constant 12, I believe. Or a key, I don't remember. I have the alternator power ran. Starter's on. Starter powers ran. All the hots are hooked up to the starter, which is in this case 3. The purple wire is hooked up to the starter, which is your keyed crank. So really, the only thing left to do now is 1, 2, 3. Should be started after that. But this I'm going to try to mount over here. Try to get in one of them holes there. Right there, sorry. I'm going to try to get one of them holes. Maybe like that or something, I don't know. However, the harness will allow me to do it. But yeah, once that's mounted somewhere, I don't quite know yet. Once that's mounted, them wires are hooked up. Then all we got to do is test it. The upper radiator hose is going to be pretty simple. Basically, it's going to flip right and lay just like it does on a Chevy truck. Go right to the thermostat, or not thermostat, but the water pump. Pretty easy. The real problem is going to be this lower one, which is like, I mean, right here it is, basically straight against the frame, and then it's got to go here, which is just like, but I'm going to roll back under this car for a second and zip tie up them power lines, because they're kind of close to the manifold, and I want to get them away from the heat. And then, you know, see things like this, nothing to do with that. OBD2 port, don't have nothing to do with that. Grounds are already hooked up. Ground's already on the block. Yeah, so literally I've got these 3 wires. Anywho, let's get back to work. So I pretty much have this thing wired now. I actually just bent this bracket over and mounted that. So there you go. Fuel pump is connected. I just have key 12, and it'll be ready to go. What I'm doing is I'm putting the battery on charge now. It's probably fine. I think it's already at 12 volts. I don't know what percentage it's at though. Takes a second. There you go. 35%. Yeah, so that battery's basically dead. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that charge up a little bit, and I'll come back out here probably after dinner, and I'll hook up them last 2. We'll see if the pump cycles and everything. I'll probably put some gas in it. If the pump cycles and everything, we'll try to pop it off, see if it fires. If it does, then it's pretty much done, except for hoses, and that'll be it. He ordered a mass airflow. I don't have one, so this thing does run. It's going to run like butt kiss if it will run. Other than that, I know it has a broken port up here, so that'll get a lot of air around it, which will screw up. And you know what else I'm looking for that I don't see? A map sensor, which looks like it's broken right here. And if that's the map sensor broken right here, we are not going to be starting anyway. That's exactly what that is, broke off. Yep. That's one of the plugs he's got missing, is the map sensor. This ain't going to run today. He needs a map sensor. And the tabs for the map sensor are broken too. Yeah, that's an issue. So I need a map sensor. I need a brake booster check valve. I need a mass airflow. So this ain't gonna run today. Not gonna happen. That sucks. But at least I'll have it wired, and it'll be like push in, plug in. I think he said he was going to silicone that intake right here where it was broken. He's just going to keep it on there, and I'll have to have that. So that sucks. Need a map sensor for this motor. Well, I've got her wired. Got the upper radiator hose on, working on the lower, which isn't a pickle spot. But owner brought a mass airflow. It's the wrong kind. It's the 5 wire. We need the 3. So he ordered the adapter plug, probably. That's what we're going with, which ain't no big deal. It still works fine. I fired it up. It runs, but it only runs off ether because, like all LS motors, when they sit, the injectors get stuck, and you got to replace injectors every time. I really, really, really need to get me an ultrasonic cleaner, so that way I can clean the probably 5 sets of injectors I got, because they're all clogged and stuck. I've tried everything to get them to loosen up. If you're not using an ultrasonic cleaner or an injector cleaner or something like that, it ain't going to happen very good. But yeah. Working on the lower radiator hose now. Get it done and pretty much be done until the mass airflow adapter and the new injectors come. And at that point, this baby's done and it's out of here. We can move on to the next one, which is, I'm hearing there's a COE coming my way for an LS. But it's going to be just like this one, just a wire and fire. And other than that, we've got an LS motor to build. And then we're pretty much done for this year, probably. Next year, people, be prepared. Building the big shop. Can't wait. I can have multiple projects in there. While I'm waiting on parts for one, I can work on the other. We'll be in biscuit and gravy heaven there. But, yeah. Let's finish this off and call it a day. So it's been a while, guys. I don't really get on TikTok much anymore. I'm too busy. And not to mention the fact that TikTok it's killing my mood, man. All this freaking politic BS and all this crap I don't care about, basically. Not to mention you can't make jokes on here. You get banned, but you can be half naked. And again, I went through this 50 times. Anyway, I'm working on a Monte Carlo LS swapped. I already, they put the LS and motor and trans in it. I'm doing the wiring and the fuel system. It's pretty much done. I already fired it today. Again, when all you got's weekends, that's what you do. You work on weekends. Which it's Friday, but still, it's the weekend. But here's the major update. The land. Springtime comes, baby. 40 by 45 by 16 foot tall shop wheel. And just like normal, it seems like every single LS I work on anymore has bad injectors when they're not, you know, pulled and brought directly to, you know, swap or whatever. So, got the rail off, gotta pull these injectors. We got some Jungle Store injectors here. Yeah, that's it, fall. I don't care. But hopefully these are right. They're the right plugs, but you know how that is. I'll have to get my old Vaseline out and yep, just keep falling. I don't care. Yeah, that stinky gas. But we gotta pull all them injectors out, swap them with these, lube up the new ones, plop them in, and then this baby should be started. Oh, and I got the mass airflow and the adapter because the LS's, depending on which one you get, some of them have a 5-wire, some of them have a 3-wire. This one has a 5-wire mass airflow, but it has a 3-wire harness. So, yep. And what I believe that is, one's a mass airflow, and the other one's an air intake temp sensor. Yeah, this puts them both on one, so that's all that is. And that's got to go on, and then we should be able to start it. But yeah, let me pull all these injectors and swap them out, and I'll get right back to you. You've seen it done once, you've seen it done a million different LS times. Got the heat going, by the way. It is freaking cold. Let me get this done real quick before it gets even colder out. Well, we got the rail back on, we got the mass airflow back on, and I don't know what kind of harness this is or where he got it. It sucks. So this is a 5-wire mass airflow, which you ordered before, you know, checking it. It was a 3-wire. So we got the adapter for the 3-wire and for the, I think it's the intake air temperature sensor. This harness don't have it. Right here, this is. Here's 2 more plugs. Them plugs don't fit this. So, I don't know. Hopefully it'll just work with just the mass plug in, and we'll be gravy. But, I don't know. So, went to fire it up. Key on. Nothing. I was like, what the frig? Battery. It's got like 1%, 2% battery in it right now. Yeah, so basically I'm done for tonight. We'll just let this baby charge, and then hopefully tomorrow, key on, wham. Fires up, runs good, fill it full of fluid in the radiator, and it's out of my hands at that point. He wanted the air intake over there, but it ain't gonna happen. Fan's in the way for 1, and for 2, yeah, it's just not gonna happen. So he's gonna have to try to make it work over here. He's gonna have to try to clock his mass airflow, whatever. But this is pretty much gonna be the end of this video. Sorry about my lovely locks. It's shower day, so anywho, keep watching, like, share, and subscribe. I would say go buy merch, but nobody buys anything from me. Ain't good enough. But big things are coming. Really big. Big shop. Okay, I spoiled it. I couldn't help it. Got a big shop. But yeah, this is getting ready to get out of here. I might have a COE coming that I've got to wire and do fuel system, same thing as this. And unfortunately I probably sold the Le Mans. Got to build the big shop. Got to sacrifice. So let's call it for today.
Jeep.